What is the most important part of the golf swing that once you change this, it fixes everything else in the swing? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's the club face. And in today's video, we're going to share with you a recent lesson that we did with Ian, who was struggling with an over-the-top, high weak slices. And we're going to share exactly what we did in 2 simple steps.
What Ian was doing was he was over-rotating the club in the takeaway and the move away, so that toe end of the club was pointing pretty much straight up. So that club face is open. As he would continue up to the top of his backswing, he'd get a lot of cup in that lead wrist, and we can see the leading edge of the golf club pointing down pretty much down to the ground. His first move when he poured the power on was to swing over the top. We see this all the time, the decapitation move, swinging over the top. That means he's going to swing his path to the left, he's going to slice it, he's going to struggle with distance when he's doing that.
And his average path was about 4 left, yeah?
We had full swing in play, we had about 4 degrees left, and we made a massive change by just doing that one thing, which was pretty cool.
Now, before we show you the drill and the 2 steps, if you're not a subscriber yet and you really want to improve your game, hit that subscribe button to never miss one of our weekly videos. Okay, let's go through them, Pierce.
Yeah.
The first step, and this was sort of, we broke this down a little bit really, didn't we? So
yeah, and the one thing to say on this is we were doing this at a corporate event. We've got 5 minutes with this guy, so we have to pick the most important thing. And it just so happens that if we had 5 minutes with you, we'd probably be doing the same thing if you're over the top.
And once we did this drill, we were going on the course straight away, and it worked for him pretty quickly.
Albany, which is one of the hardest golf courses in the world, by the way.
So the first step was, we said, okay, let's get back to parallel here, where waist height, and we wanted to see that the club face was matching the spine angle. Now, the feeling for Ian was he felt that the club face was actually looking down. This was obviously very different to the reality, but a square face was the club face was matching the spine angle. So we got him to rehearse this, and then from there we said, okay, now let's rehearse to the top of the swing where we feel the club face now is more skyward. That is a closed face. Ultimately, the feel was this. The reality was that the leading edge was matching the forearm. That would be more of a square face. And we got him hitting shots doing this, Pierce. So it was like step 1, boom, boom, pause, and hit.
Let's do one.
Let's do one of those.
Let's do one. So it was actually literally, we would swing back to this waist high. He would check and look at the club face. He'd be happy that it was good. He'd go to the top, stop, and then hit. And we'd do it on a T-peg, obviously, to make it nice and simple. But the thing for us with this is we talk about this a lot. The exaggeration is the key to this, because as Andy said, if you're here, you've got to feel this just to get this somewhere in between.
I like the check here as well. So as Pierce does this, it's like, check it, know that you're in the right place. Perfect, that's step 1 done. It's hard to get it wrong from here. Yeah. But then from there, it was top of the golf swing, feel the club face to the sky, and then it was go, and then it was hit that shot. And Pierce's first shot there, a little bit of a draw. If you're somebody who hits it high, weak, and slices it, swings over the top, this is what's going to be the catalyst to change it.
Yeah, and I think, look, the key from here is what we had to speak with Ian about was, what's the feel for you? So what does this mean to you? We can see the videos, we can see the positions, but what about when he's not looking at the club face and he's got to actually feel it? So what we'll do is, we'll get Ian to swing back and maybe look at it and check the face, make sure it's all good. Then look back at the board, and the question we would ask is, what does this feel like to you? And he's going, well, for me, it feels like the club is heavier. And that makes perfect sense. As soon as we do that, the toe is on top of the heel. The club is now very actually light when you're swinging. So this here, this feel of being heavy, was a great way for him to understand when he's swinging, oh, if it feels heavy, then I'm good to go.
So step 2 then was a little different. So step 2 was really just advancing it on. We'd go to waist height, pause, and then actually just hit from there. So we go back and then through. And what this did, Ian actually took this to the golf course. Yeah. So he was like, right, I'm just going to play with this today. And he did it really well. It worked on I saw him from afar on the golf course. I'm like, wow, he's stopping.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
What's he doing? But it worked for him great, because now the face was in a good place. And we always talk about this. If you're somebody who swings over the top, or you have some symptoms that you see, because most golfers are good at spotting the symptoms, but often they're not looking at the face. The face is the #1 thing that you should be checking, because it has the most influence on the start direction of where the ball goes. And then everything else tends to want to compensate around it. So if you're slicing the golf ball or swinging over the top, when you change this, there's a great chance that it's going to fix the other things.
If we can get the club face square, now it's more automatic and a lot easier for you to just allow that club to shallow. And this is something for Ian he didn't even have to think about. We didn't say to you, now you need to get on plane, or you need to go under the plane, or exaggerate being under the plane. We just let him hit shots. His natural golf brain knew that as soon as his club face was square, oh, it can now feel, it can now drop into that place. It was almost like a lubrication on it.
Well, it can move. It's the domino that changes everything. The first domino is the key thing, and the first domino is often that club face that then just changes the path. It changes how your body moves. It's just crucial if you get the face right.
I think I should do this drill, by the way, when I'm playing golf, because that's actually been pretty good. So let's actually just go through the before and afters now. So we can see as the club is moving away now, club face is in a very different position. It's a lot squarer now. As we go to the top of the backswing, we can see the leading edge is matching the forearm. That pause is obviously making this a lot easier for him. And then as he goes into transition, the club is now on plane. This was a really quick transformation by just changing how this thing works.
It just shows how important that club face is. You need to check that. Now, if you enjoyed that, you will love this video right here. And also don't forget to check out meandmygolf.com and download the Me and My Golf app for our best, most exclusive content. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.